Hello and welcome to our comparison video of the Samsung Galaxy S4 Mini here on the left and last year's Samsung Galaxy S3 Mini. I'm going to jump right ahead and look at the design of the two devices. Now both devices follow the same design language of their bigger counterparts, so the S3 Mini looks very much like the standard S3, and as the same can be said for the S4 Mini. Both feature a removable back cover with a removable battery, just like the bigger versions. So here we can see in the S3 Mini, we've got the removable battery and the SIM card slot. Memory card is actually underneath. I'm not going to take that battery out because we want to have the devices on in a minute to save us the booting time. Here the S4 Mini, both the SIM card and the memory card are underneath the battery. The battery as well, bring that a bit closer, we can see near field communication, NFC built into the battery here on the S4 Mini, something not available on the S3 Mini. So the S4 Mini will work with any NFC accessories and is also compatible with Samsung Galaxy Beam for sharing files and music and anything else you want to share between compatible devices. In terms of ports, micro USB port, both on the bottom for both devices, power button on the right hand side near the top, volume rocker on the left. They've flipped over the headphone jack from the right to the left, although that's going to have very little difference in real terms, and also the camera on the top and center as with most Samsung devices. So design wise, very similar, quite similar to if you've ever held a standard S4 next to a standard S3, you'll see that the two devices are almost the same in terms of size. Thickness, here the S4 Mini on the left, almost exactly the same. Actual fact, it's a touch thinner than the S3 Mini by a shade of a millimeter, and it removes that curved back as well. You've got a much flatter back on the S4 Mini. It's a little bit taller, which makes room for a bigger screen, 4.3 inches here on the left against 4 inches on the right. The extra height allowing for the bigger screen, and also a slightly slimmed down bezel. You can see here it's about half the width, the bezel on the left to the right. So all that allowing for that extra 0.3 of an inch, which makes all the difference. The screen itself, both are using AMOLED. You might be able to see here on the video that the left-hand side is much brighter. The S4 Mini's got a much brighter screen. Both of these devices have had their brightness turned up to maximum for this comparison. So we can see definitely a brighter screen. Also the color depth, try and get these a little bit closer here. If you see the green of the phone icon, the video camera may distort that somewhat, but it's a much brighter, more vibrant green there on the left, and the blues in the background. So a brighter screen overall, and a slightly higher resolution on the S4 Mini as well. It's QHD rather than the WVGA on the right, so we've got a slightly higher resolution. In terms of raw specifications on the two devices, the S3 Mini runs a 1 GHz dual-core processor against the S4 Mini's 1.7 GHz dual-core processor. Neither of them quite living up to the lofty quad-core heights of their bigger counterparts. However, the S4 Mini still got a very powerful processor in that 1.7 GHz dual-core. Obviously far outstrips the S3 Mini on the right. We'll see that being a familiar process throughout this. The S4 Mini will beat the S3 Mini on quite a number of raw specifications. An extra ½ GB of RAM here as well, up to 1.5 gigs. I mentioned NFC is in there earlier. We've also got a newer version of Android. We're onto Android 4.2.2 with Samsung's build. The highest you'll get on the S3 Mini is now 4.1.2 with a recent update. I very much doubt Samsung will release any more updates for the S3 Mini. 4.1.2 is probably about as high as they're going to go there. This does mean that the S4 Mini has some extra features that the S3 Mini doesn't. If we open up the notification bar, we have the screen mirroring here. That makes use of Wi-Fi Direct. That was built into Android 4.2 as standard, so you won't find it on older devices. Screen mirroring simply uses Wi-Fi Direct to create an ad hoc network so you can share content that's on this screen onto a compatible screen. Where else do we have? We have a driving mode built into the S3 Mini. The S4 Mini. That's not on the S3 Mini. NFC here, which allows with S-Beam, as I spoke about briefly earlier. Also got Smart Stay. The screen recognizes when it's being looked at and then doesn't turn off. So useful if you're watching videos or pausing a game or anything that would require you to not interact with the screen, but you don't want it to turn off. We'll also have updates in the future, I expect, for the S4 Mini. I'm probably going to get a 4.3 update sometime in the near future. Samsung seem to be pretty quick at rolling those out, and 4.3 is now available for stock Android devices, so hopefully Samsung will roll out updates for the S4 Mini. So we're going to have it's more future-proof. Also in there, we've got LTE in here as well, which helps with the future-proofing. 6-band LTE, which will work in all countries aside from North America. Another big hardware update is video outs available on the S4 Mini. There's no video out on the S3 Mini, so a micro USB port down here is MHL enabled on the S4 Mini. So you can use any MHL adapter that you may have lying around, or you can purchase a new one and hook up an HDMI cable from here to your HD TV. Also included within the settings is Samsung All Share, which has probably been updated on here to be called Samsung Link. Sure, I actually find it directly in the settings. Here. Samsung Link allows you to share with other Samsung Link enabled devices. SP nearby devices. Share your media files via DLNA. Yeah, that wasn't included on the. It's just here. Share your media files via DLNA. That was not included on the S3 Mini. So, more than one way to get your content off the device and onto another screen if you want to show it. The S3 Mini had absolutely no video out capabilities whatsoever. Quite hampered in that respect. Onto the cameras on the devices. Now, both have a camera here on the back in relatively similar positions. The S3 Mini is running at a very bog standard 5 megapixel sensor. The S4 Mini has an 8 megapixel sensor, although when you go into the camera application, you'll only get the 8 megapixels if you're shooting in 4:3 ratio, which we'll see when I go in here. So here I've got the black bars down either side. This shows me that I'm on 8 megapixel. If I go into my camera settings and change my photo size, if I want the full screen images, I will have to drop down to 6 megapixels. So a widescreen image will have to be 6 megapixels. Now you see those bars have disappeared and we've got a full screen. Just something to contemplate. Although, so if you want those higher resolution images, you'll have to take them in 4:3. Can't really show on the video, although the complimentary blog post for this video has got some sample images, and you'll see that the S4 Mini actually overexposes a fair bit. Took similar shots from the same distance in the same subjects with these two devices, and without any change to the settings, just straight into the automatic mode, the S4 Mini here on the left, which you would expect to have a more advanced camera, overexposes the white balance quite a bit. It can be counteracted by going into the settings and also using the HDR mode, high dynamic range mode, that's available on here. Within the mode settings will get rid of a lot of the overexposed whiteness, but straight out of the box, straight out your pocket and to point and shoot with them, the S3 Mini actually takes a better picture without any fiddling. So overall, really, the S4 Mini is the much better device. Got the faster processor, it's got more memory, it's got a higher resolution screen, it's got a higher megapixel camera, everything that you would really expect from an upgrade in the S4 Mini, including upgraded software as well. That's of course reflected in the price. We're looking at £125 difference now between the two devices, the S3 Mini having dropped quite significantly since the S4 Mini was released, which makes the S3 Mini a very good budget choice. If you're looking for a device that simply has plenty of smartphone features, so your standard GPS, email, everything you'd want from a smartphone, but at a budget price with a decent other features, decent camera, decent screen, decent connectivity, just not super modern, then the S3 Mini is by no means a bad choice. Something perhaps as a backup secondary phone, phone for the kids, phone for someone, for a novice who's not maybe used a smartphone before. S3 Mini is a very good choice right now due to the price. However, if you're looking for something modern, something future-proofed, without going to the full range of the most expensive devices out there on the market, the S4 Mini's got to be a very good recommendation. It's got all the features you'd expect from a modern smartphone, just with the cut down size, weight and cost. So yeah, the recommendation there by far is to go for the S4 Mini over the S3 Mini. Thank you for watching.